Accused of the rape and murder of Jill Meagher has appeared before the Melbourne Magistrates Court. Adrian Ernest Bailey was charged before a packed courtroom over the death of the 29-year-old ABC employee. He'll face a committal hearing on January the 18th. The 41-year-old was arrested on Thursday night after a week-long investigation. Ms Meagher's body was found overnight northwest of Melbourne. She went missing after a night out with workmates in Brunswick. Her husband and brother were in the courtroom. And speaking outside the Magistrates Court, Jill Meagher's husband Tom Meagher delivered a brief statement to journalists.
Despite the fact that this is the worst thing we'll ever go through in our lives, I've been really humbled by the support of the Australian public, the tireless efforts of the police and all the friends and family who've put their lives on hold to help us out. And while I really appreciate all the support, I just would like to mention that negative comments on social media may hurt legal proceedings, so please be mindful of that. And I would also like to say that if the media could respect the privacy of the Meaghers and the Winkelns at this time, that'd be brilliant. Thank you.
Jill Meagher's husband speaking there outside the Melbourne Magistrates Court just in the last half hour or so. For more, we're joined by ABC reporter Gloria Kalash, who's also outside the Melbourne Magistrates Court. Gloria, just take us through exactly what happened inside.
Well, Joe, it started off this morning at about 9 a.m. Not long after that, the family walked in waiting for the appearance of Adrian Bailey. It was adjourned for a short time where the family was taken away and the DPP and the informant talked them through what would actually happen in court, which my understanding is that's actually something that's quite unusual. Then a short time later, the family entered the court. Bailey also entered the court. Tom Meagher looked briefly over at Adrian Bailey and pretty much throughout the entire time that he was in there during the matter, he barely looked over. Bailey sat there, made no eye contact at all, didn't look in the direction of Tom Meagher or Jill Meagher's brother Michael, who was also in the courtroom. He didn't seem to show much emotion at all. It was a very brief matter and it's now, as you say, the matter has been adjourned. One thing that did happen in the court is once the matter was heard, someone from the that was sitting inside the courtroom yelled out at Bailey, calling him a maggot.
Gloria, did anything happen in terms of the exchange between the magistrate and the lawyers apart from setting the next hearing date?
No, Joe, it was very brief. Given the nature, the magistrate did say that given the nature of the charges against him, which murder and rape, that entertaining a bail application wasn't even an option.
Yeah. Okay. Now, Gloria, we've heard from the family in Ireland this morning too.
Yeah, that's right, Joe. It's one of many tributes which have been flowing through for Jill Meagher. Her uncle spoke from Ireland earlier this morning. As we know, Jill is an Irish national but has been living here in Australia, in Melbourne, for the last 3 years. And he spoke of a Jill that he and the family and obviously her friends remember, and this is some of what he had to say.
There are no words to describe how we feel at what has happened. We had hoped yesterday, when there was no evidence of foul play, but when the man in the CCTV footage was arrested, we feared the worst. We acknowledge the role that social media has played in the search for Jill. We believe that it has helped us in the search, but it's not the outcome that we had hoped and prayed for.
Michael McEwen with that heart-wrenching statement there earlier from Ireland earlier today. Now back to Gloria Kalash outside the Melbourne Magistrates Court. Gloria, just give us an idea of the impact that this has had on the ABC in Melbourne where Jill Meagher worked.
trying time, and particularly for those who work in ABC Radio, where Jill was an employee. There was tributes this morning on 774 Radio. You know, it's a difficult time really for all of us that work in that building, and not just for those that work in the ABC, but even for those of us living here in Melbourne, and particularly for those of us who live in and around the Brunswick area. This is something that, you know, you never imagine is going to happen, number one, to anyone you know, and number two, even in your own neighbourhood. So it's a very sad day, not only for Jill Meagher's family and friends, her colleagues, but indeed for Melbourne, and I guess for the area of Brunswick, that it's something that I think will take some time for people to recover from. The Managing Director of the ABC as well did send out a statement this morning saying that the thoughts of the ABC and everyone within the ABC family is with Jill Meagher's family and friends.
Okay, Gloria Kalash outside the Melbourne Magistrates Court, thanks for that. So that committal hearing for Adrian Bailey is on January the 18th.